The
The third
third
week is not
week,
that bad.
huh?
Third week is not that bad to me as
Yeah,
I look at all of
the third week, the game that I definitely want to see is LSU, and probably the world wants to see is LSU at Ole Miss.
that's what I
Yeah, that's
got.
Man,
that's the
Oh,
game. Yeah, that's the game I have.
yeah, there's gonna be wings that week. Believe that.
Yeah,
so what? So what do you guys think about Lane Kiffin going back? I mean, we know that's gonna be crazy.
yeah. I mean, the environment is going to be something else. I mean, and I think that's what hopefully the players at LSU are able to block out. Like you said, it all depends on not just who has whose number, but how can they get off to uh, a great start in that game. But and they're on the road. I think this is where you talk about a team feeling good about each other. LSU has got to be Ole Miss, and it got to be Chambliss on the road. And Chambliss for Heisman trophies and a late playoff run, it'll be the same way about how they're looked at and how they feel about going against all the rest of their SEC opponents
Mm-hmm.
this year. They have their, folks that have been built around them. They've lost some people from last year. And I think LSU just going to just look at it, even though looking at it like it's an important game, but understanding it's another game that you just got to get it done. If you get too much into what goes on and too much into what, this is where you find out how good of a coach Lane Kiffin is. How does he coach and how does he help the players to manage their emotions and even his assistant coaches, Charlie Weiss Jr. and all the rest of those folks, they're stepping into some stuff. How do they manage their emotions through a big game like this? And are they just going to try to come after Chambliss in this particular game?
I think that Lane Kiffin is gonna be all everything he got in the playbook. I think is coming out at Ole Miss, and I think he doesn't just want to beat him. I think he wants to punish him. He's just that type of dude, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people don't like him, but that's one of the things I like about him. I like the petty in him.
But I think that's also how Ole Miss is thinking. They're like, "You gonna leave us like that?" Okay.
I'm sure their
Yeah.
players are thinking that, but I think when it comes to X's and O's, they're outmatched with that. So their players they're definitely going to be on that level. But Golding versus Kiffin, and I like Golding. I think he'll have something defensively. This is going to be good because they know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So who's going to be able to implement the wrinkles to catch the other one off guard? Because Golding is a defensive maestro, and from everything I'm hearing, that defense at Ole Miss is supposed to be nasty this year. And if it is, they're going to be a factor in not only the SEC but also the national scene. But that game is going to be a good indicator. Big Dude was talking about the importance of this game, and LSU really needing to come out and make a statement. I think for Ole Miss, to me, I think they will still be fine in terms of their season. If they lose this game, they'll be pissed that it's to Kiffin, of course.
Of
But I
course.
I think right now, if I had to pick one of the teams as the better team, I would say Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for that game, I'm gonna take the coach in that particular game. And I do think they're closely matched, but I think Ole Miss is probably the better team. If I had to bet the game today, I would say Ole
Did
Miss is
Kiffin,
probably
did,
the better
did
team.
Kiffin take a lot of Ole Miss players with him?
I didn't see an overabundance of players. I just know that he killed the transfer portal, but I don't think a lot of them were Ole Miss guys.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
Because didn't they have like 40 or something like that, big dude?
yeah. It was pretty
Yeah.
hefty number.
But I
A
didn't
lot.
see a big stink about it being a lot of Ole Miss guys. I think the Ole
Mm-hmm.
Miss guys were more pissed off, and I don't think that they really
Mm-hmm.
went with him.
Yeah, I think a whole lot of people wanted some action over there. Seeing him go there, that's a dynamic opportunity for a number of people to come somewhere where they have a good year to go in that Death Valley and see what they can do. But like I said, I,
Oh,
I guess what you were saying is true that there are coaches that they want to take it, they want to rub it in. I guess what I'm learning is just about every head coach, especially at that level in Power Four, probably has a little bit of that, and just about all of them has a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of that in them.
Mm-hmm.
there's some people that just when they look at matchups, they're trying to make a point. But in this one, you just got to make sure that the players, I say, motivate them, but you just got to make sure everybody's on the same page, especially when you bring in that many people from the transfer portal. But
Yeah, he'll say all the right things. He'll say all
right,
the right things to them, but then with behind the closed doors in his office with the other coaches, he gonna
yeah.
be saying something else.
And,
So
and,
I
and,
agree
the
with
squad,
you.
and the squad meetings, that's when you really found out. I mean, Paterno and Holtz. Paterno was not a Holtz fan at all, and he made it known to us. But all throughout the week, it was they say bulletin board material. I never understood what that meant until you saw what people were saying about us. But that's what happens, Sometimes it's something small. Somebody gets a chance to play in a big bowl game. That's probably not as much important anymore because there's playoffs, but about why it is that people are upset about who they get to play in the college playoffs, CFP. They're not supposed to be able to be afraid of anybody or in a big game like this. But this is to me the next game that dictates really what happens in the great SEC. I think,
Yeah, big
for them to
SEC
have it, I
game.
think this is the game.
Well, one of the things I want to say before I turn it over to G is I find it interesting that Chambliss didn't go
Right.
because typically I would think that there would be a high probability of the quarterback going with the coach, especially an offensive-minded coach like Kiffin.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely something. It's going to be nasty.
Maybe they didn't know he was going to get his extra year, so they just didn't even
Yeah,
think about it.
that could have been part of it too. And Lane probably didn't even consider it as a factor. That's true. I didn't think about that. G. I forgot about that drama with Chambliss. Any additional thoughts on this particular game or any other game you have highlighted for that time?
No, not for week 3.
And I think for probably the sake of time, let's just go to the games that we're looking forward to. Any point of the rest of the season. G, you can jump in with what other games. What's the next game on your list that you think is this might be special?
What I'll probably do is, if it's okay, I'll just kind of take one from each of the power. Well, we already talked about my one in the ACC, but from the Big Ten, I'm definitely going to be watching USC and Penn State.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching OSU and Indiana and Oregon and OSU. I'm sitting in front of those.
What about you, big dude?
I am looking at USC and Penn State, of course, but I'm also looking at Georgia and Bama that same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you make wings for that one, Guru, because
Come
you
on,
almost
now
have
you
to.
already know.
Yeah.
You already know.
Hopefully you make them for that one
I
because
have them both playing at the same time.
right. Well, that's what I want. That's what I wondered, because I want to see that game and I want to concentrate on it. I also look at it like other games. It's like what you schedule the bathroom even around some of those other games.
Hold up, who else you got going at that same time?
Well, I don't know
I
if
think it's USC and Penn State.
Same day.
Because there's no time on the Georgia Alabama game yet, so hopefully they stagger
same
them.
day.
And I bet you that'll be prime time.
You know what's interesting though? This year the Red River rivalry is at 3:30, and usually that's a noon start. So that's going to cross over with somebody probably.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
But I had the Georgia Bama. The other big game for me that I have is Ohio State at Indiana, of course. I want to see what Indiana's made of. I want to see what they're about. I hope they're still good. Just for the sake of the conference and the game.
Ohio State at Indiana, that's on November 14th.
I have that as October 17th. Yeah.
Do I have the wrong date for that?
Yeah.
October 7th. Oh man.
But let's hop a little bit. November 7th is to me the biggest weekend of the season. And again, that's my opinion.
OSU,
Miami and Notre Dame,
LSU. You got Georgia, Ole Miss.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm be plopped on my couch that day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Miami's playing Notre Dame.
And those things, unfortunately, something's probably going to overlap. So got to figure out the multiple screen. situation. I think my max I can do 6 if I do my laptop and my second monitor. That'll give me 2 additional because I could do 4 on my projection. So I think I can get 6 at once. Is my max.
Nah, I'm just, I guess it depends on how large I want the screen.
Yes. Oh, it
The
definitely
most
is
I've,
that. It
the
definitely is
most I've
that.
done is 4, with 3 on the big screen TV,
Uh huh.
and then 1 on the laptop.
And I always find myself the games never like rarely are all 4 popping at the same time. So usually you end up focusing on one, score watching the
Hmm.
other. But that week is going to be special for sure. And there's a few later season games. You got Texas at LSU, might be for the SEC.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good one.
Virginia Tech Miami, I'm more intrigued by. It's late, but I don't know where you don't know where Virginia Tech's going to be as a program. I hope that Franklin's successful in the first year and that game could be competitive. But is there anything after November 7th that you guys had Big Ten wise?
No.
It's in November 7th.
Oh, USC Indiana on the 14th.
I mean, I had that, but
I
I
mean,
was
if
like,
we don't know what USC's is, right?
or Indiana, we don't truly know what they're going to be bringing.
Yeah,
USC's on the road on that game? Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, at
You
Indiana.
got some tough
yeah.
road. USC got some. I'll tell you what, if USC can find out how to beat Penn State and Indiana on the road, those are big wins for them.
Well, I'll ask this, and you guys know better than me. Is going to Bloomington intimidate? I mean, I don't. I'm asking
Probably now it
seriously.
does.
Will it be
After
now?
last season, probably now.
Okay.
Probably it'll
Did
be a
you find it
challenge. I
last
mean,
season being intimidating?
Well, because they beat
we
everybody
played them
that
at home
came
last
in.
year.
So,
No, I'm saying in general. Did anybody find their stadium to be whether you played them there or not? Did you see or hear that? Oh
Yeah,
man,
they
Bloomington
always
stuff.
feel well. They always felt like they had a chance to win. And all the way back in the day, they're usually pretty competitive in a lot of those big games. They don't win a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
before Kirk Signetti, but always pretty competitive. And I think they stole a couple of them. You always thought
Mm-hmm.
so, and they didn't have a real big stadium with a lot of people. So I would say not really, but it's just kind of like a weird place to play more than
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Okay.
mm.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was me. I'm like, I gladly go to
I didn't see it.
Bloomington.
No.
Something
Bloomington over Ann Arbor State College in Columbus. Yeah. Well, I'll take
Yeah.
the trip to Bloomington.
You know what's interesting, you all? We haven't brought up a Big 12 team or Notre
Nope.
Dame as must see TV.
Because they don't play anybody. Notre Dame has one game, which we brought up that November 7th. That's Miami. They don't play anybody else
Yeah.
worthy. And you said
That's
who, the
the only
Big
one that I
12?
have.
Yeah,
The Big No Why? Because BYU and Texas Tech don't play each other.
That's right. They don't. That
And
would be my
that would be
game.
the biggest game of the conference. They don't have anything else.
but BYU's playing Notre Dame,
Yeah,
so
I
I
had
thought
them
like,
on my secondary list. That's going to be a huge game. It's the same
yeah,
week as Penn State, Michigan.
right.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna be a good game, and it'll be time to find out about Bachmeyer.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean,
there's
we'll
some
see if Notre
serious.
Dame has like some real fire in them, because that's not going to be an easy game.
No.
The thing I worry about Notre Dame, and that's at BYU too, by the way. The
Yep.
thing I'm worrying
That's
about with Notre Dame, and I think this is why they've tripped up, they haven't done themselves a service. When you play that type of schedule, you're not sharp to me when it comes playoff time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you haven't had to play it. It's hard to play at that intensity when you're beating teams that you know you should beat. And people can say
Right.
whatever they want to say about coaching and the week of practice, but we've all played competitive sports. There were some weeks of practice that you were like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
such and such is
Right.
probably going to get to play this week because we're going to smash these jokers, right?
Exactly.
Um, to me, that's a significant challenge for my guy in South Bend to keep Notre Dame keep that intensity up through that schedule. But we'll see. I
Right.
have high expectations of them this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, they really need to do some better scheduling. And the CFP just really annoys the heck out of me that they gave them a carve out.
And the thing to me is they don't have to get crazy about it. It's not like we're not saying you got to play Ohio State, Alabama, LSU. Like,
Just put
take two
three of them in there.
teams.
Maybe just put three major banging teams up in there. Just two.
Yeah. Shit, I'd be happy if they played the top ACC teams outside of, give me somebody else other than Miami. I'd be okay if they played Clemson and SMU. Well, I
Oh
guess they
yeah,
play SMU, right?
yeah, they do play SMU. So if they play Louisville, Miami,
Clemson, I'd be
SMU,
okay
if they're
with that to
playing,
start off.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Better than what they
Notre
got
Dame,
now.
man,
Too many MAC games and
they,
stuff for me, man.
entirely.
So, anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that jumps out for me before Big Dude gets back. Texas and Texas A&M is going to be really big. I think that might be Thanksgiving weekend. That's when y'all play Michigan, right? Is that Thanksgiving weekend, like after
Oh
Thanksgiving?
yeah,
That's going to
yeah.
be a big game because that could be for the SEC chip if Texas A&M plays the way they're supposed to play.
I didn't even have that one on my list.
Yeah, I had them
Huh.
as a secondary matchup.
Oh, okay.
I had you guys first. And
Hmm.
and even if, like I said, even if one of you are bad, that Michigan Ohio State game is always just you can't miss that. They could be 500. You can't miss that game. You just can't
Yeah,
miss it.
I excluded rivalries for this segment.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know.
that's the only rivalry I have actually.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
in the Red River because I think Oklahoma could do some damage. But yeah, it's always Ohio State, Michigan for me. I don't care how good or bad they are. I have to see that game, and it's part of the
Mhm.
pageantry of it too. It's
It
just
is.
it's special, man. I would love to go to both places to see the games. One, have you ever gone to either of those?
No, I have not.
Man, we need to set
No,
that up.
even when I was there at Ohio State, my dumbness didn't go.
That needs to be a road trip, man.
I'm
I've
All
never
down
been.
with
right.
it.
I've never been in a horseshoe before.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, man, it's nice, real
Hmm.
loud.
we need to get there. It looks amazing.
That would be cool.
It looks amazing.
Hmm.
All right, well, let's move into our conference champion predictions and look at us, lock and step, people. Again, for our
Except for
people who
Big
are,
Dude.
I know he always got to be the outlier, but the outlier usually says something. He's our guy, so we'll have to delve into
Do that.
that. But for our people streaming through audio, we all have Miami winning the ACC, Ohio State winning the Big Ten, and Texas Tech winning the Big 12. G and I have Texas winning the SEC, and Big Dude has Georgia. We're gonna start with you, Big Dude. I don't necessarily disagree with it. It's not an
Yeah.
Right.
outrageous pick, but I want to
Right.
dig into your brain a little bit, see what you were thinking about with Georgia in their season.
Well, nothing real technical. It just seems like Georgia has been doing everything they can in every way to knock on the door. They have a younger team, and on paper, it may not look as good on some of these other things, but it just seems like they're releasing some of those bad spirits that they had before. I I just think that this is a new year and a new opportunity and a chance for them. And I can't remember all what I was thinking at the time. And Texas was one of the teams. It was between Georgia and Texas, and I even thought about Ole Miss, to be honest with you. But I just think this is Georgia's year after all that has happened and everything that is cleared out. And I think that we'll find out from and I still say that the Georgia Alabama game is the biggest game that will determine it, and I think that'll go down to the end. Alabama will have his chance to win because people keep on underestimating that particular game. And it used to be whoever was going to win that game or at least would win their division when they had all those different things going on. But I just think Georgia, this is their year, kind of in an upset fashion to win the SEC. There's so much going on. I just think this is Georgia's year.
Well, you know what's interesting before we dig more into this? Let me back up just a little bit. And we can start with the SEC, which you just mentioned. Georgia's the preseason favorite to win the SEC, which shocks the
Mm-hmm.
hell out of me.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't understand that.
Bama is sixth, LSU fifth, A&M fourth, Ole Miss third, Texas second. This is interesting. Going back to the ACC, they have Miami, SMU, Louisville, then Clemson and Virginia Tech. Big 12, Texas Tech, BYU, everybody else. It's always like that. Big 10, Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, USC, Michigan, Penn State.
Dang, that's kind of what I have.
Is your preseasons?
Yeah, because I mean, what I have, for example, I have Miami winning. I thought
Mm-hmm.
Louisville or SMU could slide in there, mainly Louisville. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing, Oregon probably, BYU probably,
Mm-hmm.
UGA probably. So even though I'm tongue in cheek with Big Dude choosing Georgia, honestly, if I'm going to step back and I analyze it, I can honestly say that, yeah, I can see Georgia winning it all.
Yep.
Part of me thinks that Texas is going to win it all because of the way they ended their season. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that they just went out, really, really playing really good ball. And there's a part of me is hoping that Arch Manning doesn't have to deal with a whole bunch of negativity if he doesn't live up to this. And, people can just be mean. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie. Part of my Texas pick is me being emotional
Mm-hmm.
and just a fan. But I could honestly see Georgia winning.
Yeah, I really like Arch, and I agree with you too on Georgia. So one of the things that struck me, and Georgia specifically is one of the teams that jumps out at me with this. Penn State jumps out, USC potentially, and then a bunch of teams in the ACC, SMU, Louisville. You have these teams. So I have Georgia picked to go 9-3. But all of those teams I just listed, and I mentioned this to G before we started the show tonight, they could be 8-4 or they could be 10-2.
True
Mm.
that.
So
Yep.
that your Georgia pick, big dude, is not outrageous by any stretch of the imagination. You just
Yep.
don't know. We don't know who these teams are. We won't know probably till late October who we think most of these teams are. Mentioned Georgia being young. Okay, yeah, they're young, but doesn't mean that they can't win it. They have winnable.
True.
All of these teams, those games are winnable. Just
Yeah.
who's going to show up, who's going to get hot, who's going to be able to win the coaching matchups. So
Yep.
not unrealistic at all. I love how close we were with it, and I'm glad that we had an outlier there, but not much of an outlier.
Yeah,
Obviously they
definitely
picked
not unreasonable take
no,
at all.
they were the preseason favorite, and like I said, they can go either way. And like you said, big dude, that Georgia Alabama game is going to have a lot to do with
Mm-hmm.
both those teams' seasons specifically,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
whether they have
Fighting
two,
for
three
seeds,
losses.
brother.
So,
Fighting for
so,
seeds.
so yeah, I have the three. I have three varieties of wings going that day. And any other comments about these teams? I mean, we kind of stated this when we did the conference previews and the media days. I mean, these are the kings of these conferences right now. There's not really a whole lot to discuss. However, one thing before we move on, BYU Texas Tech, I grappled with
Yeah.
because
Me
I
too.
have both of them losing games.
Mm-hmm.
I
I think I
grappled
have
as
Texas
well.
Tech getting upset. And when I looked at it again, I have Texas Tech losing a conference game. I don't have BYU. You know what? Take that back. I have BYU possibly losing to TCU, but I could see BYU only losing to Notre Dame, which is going to create an interesting situation if they're 11-1 and Texas Tech is 11-1, but BYU is undefeated in conference. Then BYU jumps up here as
Right.
your Big 12
Wow.
champ. So that'll be something to keep our eyes on if anybody slips up in those games that they're not supposed to lose. But very tight. I think the Big Ten and the ACC are really the only sure shots, that I feel comfortable at this point. I don't think anybody's going to beat either of those teams.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I think Texas Tech, I think this will be another reason. I think I mentioned to you before, G. I think we talked about it as well. I think will be another argument for that conference championship game. I think this year, especially in the Big 12, it is needed.
yes,
I can see
With them
that.
yes.
not
I
playing
can
each
see
other,
that.
and there are other matchups that are going to be important. That game, that conference championship game, is needed this year, and
Oh,
on
you
both ends,
never
I
especially
lie.
agree.
what happens with person that loses that game. How's the committee going to look at the Big 12?
Right.
That you did you play in a
Yep.
major Power Four, and where are you with the Power Four? Do they see you as the fourth Power Four division, as many of us see,
Right.
or you won it, you played a good schedule, but you cemented yourself even with a conference loss. So that conference loss that Guru talked about is going to be important, probably more so from a seeding standpoint.
I think
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech needs to be real careful because now that you
Mm-hmm.
said that, big dude, I'm envisioning a scenario where Texas Tech loses that conference game because they don't play anybody else.
Right.
But what if BYU loses the Notre Dame game and it's a tight game, and then they lose a tight game to Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship? Strength of
Mm.
schedule, BYU will probably win the strength of schedule because they play
Yeah.
Notre Dame, who will probably be a top 2, 3 team, in my opinion, at that point. That's
Mm-hmm.
going to be an interesting decision. But I guess it's not. Well, the Big 12 is automatically going to get the bid, but then where does that leave the runner up in terms of an at large bid and who ends up getting bumped? And this is the problem I have with the G6 getting a bid because,
Mm-hmm.
when we get into that, you're bumping a good Power Four team because the G6 has to be in inclusion just to include. That's what
Yeah.
I have a problem with.
Me too.
So this is a great segue into
Me three.
our 12. Oh man, where do we even
This was
where do we
this was
begin
somewhat
here?
hard.
It
Oh, this was
was.
very hard.
It was. And if you remember, I told you both, I forgot that a G6 team had to go in, and I didn't have one in.
Yeah.
I didn't have one in. So
Yep.
I had to make that change. I mean, for the most part, and these aren't in any particular, this isn't in seeding order. I think G's might be the closest to seeding order. Mine definitely isn't. I don't know, big dude, did you
Yeah,
do it in
mine was
seeding
what I
order?
thought the seeding would
No,
be.
not really.
Yeah, I didn't pay
No,
attention to seeds at all.
not really.
But what do you guys? Well, let's look at our outliers. Let's look at our outliers. So
I don't think we have any.
BYU, BYU,
Yeah,
big dude.
BYU is outlier.
That's
Yeah.
who I had as my last at-large team, and then I was like, I gotta have a G6, so I bumped them.
Agreed.
Right.
But I think they
Me too.
deserve. If the season goes like I think it goes, they deserve to be in.
Right.
And I
That's
think
just
G
what I
made
was
the
thinking.
great, and I think G made the best statement that those last two picks are the killers. Because I had said, oh, this was pretty easy. And G's like, but the last two picks are the killers. And I see
Yeah.
why the committee has an issue when it comes to the last two freaking picks. And I hate that Notre Dame gets an automatic because of that.
And also, the last two picks is where all the coaches are lobbying.
Yep.
Right.
Everybody's trying to make their team look good, trying to influence, and you just do not want to leave it in the hands of the Shamiti at all.
Yep. So one of the things that sticks out, and kind of the nice segue from what G just said, we all have Boise State as probably pretty much our last team in, the G6 team in, right? But what if, and this just came to my mind, what if Oregon destroys Boise State in that, was it the first week or first week game, I think? What if they destroy Boise State? You know what everybody's going to be saying when it comes selection time, because somebody's going to get shunned. SMU, G's got Louisville in here. I thought about them. UNLV, I've seen on a lot of people's picks.
Yeah,
Somebody's getting shunned.
Well, think about Tulane.
Tulane,
the Green
JMU
Wave.
was on my mind. There's teams that have been there before and always on the periphery. I mean, as I listen to this out loud, I'm thinking, yeah, we need more teams, right? But I don't necessarily want that many more. But we probably need
Yeah,
more teams so we can have the same argument about the other teams that will be on the
Exactly.
periphery.
Who should be 24? Who should be 23?
Yes,
We're gonna have
exactly.
that argument.
I think the big problem with this, and I hate to point the finger at Notre Dame, is they're one of the problems with this because that's
yes,
a
they are.
spot. That's a spot that they're essentially guaranteed. I mean, where Notre Dame's program is right now, it's going to be rare that they're not in the top 12.
Right.
So that might
Right.
as well be a conference champion bid, and I hate it because they're not in a conference. And to this day, I don't know why they got that special deal. I don't. If anybody
They
has
had
any
to.
intel on that, please enlighten
You
me.
know, I'm getting ready to look. I'm getting ready while y'all
To,
talking. Let's
Yeah,
go on.
enlighten me because I don't understand why there's privilege with them getting an automatic bid is not part and they're taking a bid from another G6 team because they have that slotted as a G6 or Notre Dame. G6 is never going to see that spot.
yeah, because to me, as soon as Notre Dame, if somehow Notre Dame has 3 losses, they're almost where BYU is. I mean,
Yep.
or mine,
Yep.
or Louisville, and to me, you get 3 losses in all those, you couldn't handle your business. But
Yep.
if you had a conference, but again, this is where conference championship game is helpful, or some other experience that has is a bridge to the playoffs. They don't have that. They want it all. No conference game, no bridge to the playoffs. Everything is a schedule. Everybody wants to beat Notre Dame. That's true. But if you have 3 losses, who says that you should be ahead of Ole Miss and
Yep.
Oregon
And
and
for
Georgia?
our people who are streaming audio only, we all have Miami, Ohio State, Texas Tech. Um, we already mentioned Texas and Georgia as the SEC champ. That big dude has Georgia. We all have Notre Dame. We all have Oregon, Ole Miss,
Well,
uh,
You have Indiana.
Texas. I'm doing all the ones that we have
Oh,
together. We have Texas. We all have Indiana. We all have Alabama.
got you.
And we all have Boise State. Big dude's outlier is BYU. G's outliers are Louisville and Georgia as an at-large. My outlier is Texas A&M and LSU. Neither of you have LSU. That's interesting. My outliers
Yeah.
are Texas A&M and LSU. And we'll post these on social media as well for our people who are streaming audio only. But so we don't have a lot of big differences, but there's certainly some teams on the. Anybody, any comments about these before we get into our teams that were kind of on the fringe for us that maybe just missed?
Yeah. So Notre Dame. So I just went back and looked for the why. Long story short, it was to accommodate their independent status. And since they
Hmm.
don't have, basically, they don't have an opportunity to do a conference championship, is whatever it is. So
Oh
if
my
they just rank
God.
in the top 12, but see, here's an additional foul piece of that. UConn is an independent too, but they don't have that guarantee.
And I'm sure there's
Yeah,
got to be some other teams that don't have it. I don't understand why that stipulation is there for them. Play a damn. If you're ranked,
That's just
let's say
it.
you're ranked
They're giving
11th.
them a, they're
Let's
giving
say
them a
you're
cutout like they giving G6 champs a cutout.
Well, let's say how the situation that just unraveled last year. Well, had they
Hmm.
played a tougher schedule, they would have been in without a conference championship game because you would have got points
If they would
elsewhere.
have been in the top 12, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They would have played a tough schedule. You'd have been right there. The Miami, you're saying, oh, well, I don't understand why Miami's in over us. Well, did you play anybody else? You got beat by
Right.
Texas A&M at home.
Right.
And you lost to another MAC team, I think 2 or 3 years in a row. So it does not Oh, it leaves a sour taste. Sour taste.
Yeah, just the whole how they're treating Notre Dame different
I
from
just don't
UConn,
get
I
it.
think
I
is
mean,
foul. The fact that they are essentially giving in to Notre Dame's their ego, and I get it financially. I mean, hey, if you can get the bag for being independent, I'm not gonna begrudge any organization for getting the bag. But yeah, it's an egoist thing to me. And I'll
yeah,
be honest with you, I don't like the automatic. I don't like automatic bids. Period for
Mm-hmm.
anybody.
yeah, I agree with you because, again, not to make Duke the poster child, but that could have really been a mess.
Hot. And honestly, I really wanted them. I wanted them to stick to their word and put the champion in there.
Yeah, that would have been bad. But going to what you're saying, what if one of these conferences is just a down year, and there's mediocrity? Because
Mhm.
eventually we're getting to the point where they're going to start beating up on each other, and people won't be going in with one loss and undefeated. After a
Yeah.
while, that's real dangerous to guarantee. So let's say you have a 7-4 whatever team in the Power Four. I'm not comfortable with a 7-4 conference champion being in the CFP.
No,
Heck
not me
no.
either.
No.
So,
Football can be any given Saturday. So
yep.
but no.
So I don't necessarily, because one of the discussions that I also heard today was, what is the committee going to do? Because there's this belief that there's going to be 5 or 6 SEC teams, and if that's the case, some are going to have 3 losses.
Which is
Mm.
nuts.
Yeah.
Now, I might be able to make a case for one team having 3 losses, but you trying to tell me you can have more than one team in a playoff with 3? Like, I
Yeah, I
don't
think
have
that's
anybody
nuts.
on my list that I put in. I don't have anybody with more than 2 losses. I don't know how a 3 loss
Well,
team
that's what
gets
they
in.
did it last year. Alabama got in with 3 losses, right?
They may. I don't know what their final. I don't know if the Indiana was their 3rd loss or that was their 4th loss. I don't remember.
Hmm.
But I think you're probably. Well, we can figure it out. We lost to Florida State, Oklahoma, and Georgia in the SEC championship game. Those might have been the 3 losses. Yeah, those were the three
Okay.
losses. I don't think we had 3 before the SEC championship game.
So you had 2 regular season
So we
losses.
had 2 regular season, I believe. I can't think of another
Okay. That
loss,
sounds about right.
which goes into our debate that we had last season about that championship game that year, and
Hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
was the point of
I
it?
don't know. There's a part of me don't like championship games for that reason, because everybody doesn't have an opportunity to play that extra game, but it can either help or hurt the ones in it. So
Right. And I
that's why
think what
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. But it's going to be difficult, dude, because everyone's going to be facing it. But like in the Big 12, it's like if you don't have one, and let's just say everything works out, and Texas Tech and BYU are the best teams. How do you decide what's what? I mean, how many tie? I just hate this whole tiebreaker thing, arbitrary and capricious tiebreaker system, and all the
yeah,
different.
yeah,
And every conference has their own. I mean, that's the unless
and
they
it's
do
very
something that is
inconsistent.
more uniform. I would say that you'd have to go with those games for the most part, and for the seeding, the regular season, and that last part for the seeding for the committee, because then the committee has to come up with their own metrics beyond that. We need a good old
Hmm.
fashioned win, regardless of what was on the table. That's the thing at
yep.
Oregon. They play in the Big Ten Conference Championship. If they haven't been able to, they've beaten some good teams, but kind of
But it's
feels like
almost kind of like if you're gonna have a championship game, well, just let the other damn teams play, and so they get to have their 13
To
games.
have another game, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Question,
Yep.
question for both of you: did you have any undefeated teams going into the CFP?
Miami and Ohio State, I think, would be undefeated.
What about you, big dude?
I didn't have anybody undefeated.
I
I think I
had
had Ohio State with one loss.
I had Texas and Notre Dame undefeated.
Oh
Oh yeah,
wow.
Notre Dame definitely. Notre Dame definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I see well, no, I don't see. I was gonna say I see how the SEC could have 3 losses, but nah, there shouldn't be an SEC team with 3 losses. Now they're gonna beat up on each other a little bit. I have 3 with 2 losses. But like I
I
said, I
do
got
think we're getting
Texas
ready to
12 and
go
0.
into an era, and actually I like it, that we're going to go into an era where you probably have very few undefeated teams. This is going to be
Mm-hmm.
pretty
Yeah.
rare. People are
Yeah.
going in with 1 or 2,
Yep.
maybe 3,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but
that's
definitely
what I'm
one or
looking
two.
at this year. That there'll be some upsets, and I think some of those top people will have at least. I think Miami, Texas Tech, and Ohio State all will have at least one. And actually, Texas Tech might even have 2 losses.
Yeah. The only one that I'm really feeling comfortable with, which is crazy because it would be over Miami, is Notre Dame being undefeated. I'm not
Well,
super
I
Mm.
mean, their
confident in
schedule.
12 and 0 Texas. If Texas can go 12 and 0 in the SEC, God bless them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just laying out like, like I said, the thing with Georgia for me, even though I have Texas winning, I mean, I think it could easily be Georgia. So yeah,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the games that I have Georgia losing, they could win all of them. Ole Miss,
Right.
Alabama, and Oklahoma. There's
Yeah,
no
and I think this is the year where they put again nothing prohibitive. I think they can pull off. That's why I had to look at that. I think they can pull off those wins. I mean, in like 24, 21 games and games like that. You know, very close games that I think Georgia will pull out.
and this is where we'll see the Kirby factor, right? Georgia doesn't get blown out of games, so they will have
Right,
opportunities to win
right.
the games that might be right now to us in August. These toss up games, he becomes the X factor. You know the
Mm-hmm.
defense, they can be young or whatever, but you know his defense will be rock solid. It'll be what will they be on offense.
hmm.
But you're not typically going to run away from a Georgia team score wise in a game.
All right.
So super, super interesting. Any other comments before we unveil the natties, which G's is no mystery, of course, but G's prediction for the next 5 years is Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio
Until
State.
further notice.
Any other comments on our CFP? Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about our fringes. Who did you guys have that you were like, oh man, depending on how things go, they could be right there, or people you had a hard time leaving out?
Um, for me, Louisville and BYU. I really had a tough time, and the only reason why I left them out is because of Notre Dame and Boise State.
Well, you have Louisville.
Hold up, nope, you're right. Um, so then it would just be BYU. You're right, I do have Louisville.
Yeah, BYU was the kicker for me. BYU was the kicker for me
Yeah,
because yeah, I had issue with that because they even if they lose 2 games, the one would be Notre Dame. I have them getting beat by TCU, but I don't think TCU is going to be that bad. And the other thing that I
I think
found out
TCU
too,
and Houston are good. They're going to be teams that you gotta play. You're not going to walk over those two,
nope.
but I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think they'll probably be a mid teams this year.
I had 3 teams that I was comparing. I think it was BYU, Boise, and SMU. And believe it or not, BYU had the tougher strength of schedule.
Hmm.
And that's why that was the decision I made to put them in until I realized, oh, whoa, they're not the G6 team. I got to bump them.
Yup. Yup. And the
And I'm
other thing
sorry.
is,
Go ahead,
I
G.
was thinking about Boise State, and I was thinking about Tulane, but I just
Mm-hmm.
think the Pac-12 is kind of in between
Yeah,
the
Pac-12's not
G5.
ready yet. I wanted to put a Pac-12 team in, but I just don't see it. Um, I had a hard time putting. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
I just don't
BYU I
think
struggle
Tulane
with.
or JMU will be the G6 reps. I think it's going to be Boise State.
And what's going to be
But I
crazy is
did,
some of those teams are probably going to have one loss. It's going to be
yep,
somebody else with one loss that's not going to get in.
yeah. Well, we know Boise State's going to have one because I think they play Oregon out the gate. So
Do they play UNLV?
that I don't know.
They
Um,
do not. They do not play UNLV.
You mentioned UNLV a couple of times. I need to go dig into look at some of their film and stuff.
Yeah, and I looked at their schedule. I couldn't gauge anything. Those teams in that conference that they're in, I think, is it the Sun Belt that they're in? I couldn't gauge anything from those teams. But I've seen a lot of prognosticators that had UNLV as their G6 team. I just don't see
Interesting.
it looking at Boise's schedule. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I just think Boise is just the best G6 out there right now.
Yeah. So we're gonna be sitting here at some point during the season, surprised as hell, because somebody's gonna step up,
Oh,
yeah.
that's how it always goes.
and I
There is going
can't
to be
wait,
a surprise.
and I cannot wait to see what craziness breaks through.
Hmm.
All right, so we'll move to our the reveal of our national champions. Like I said, one won't be a surprise to anyone, but
Oh,
I won't do no singing, G, but I agree with you. None of
if you
that
had
angelic stuff.
if you so big dude again, I forget everybody's not viewing this. Big dude has Ohio State, G has Ohio State, and I have Notre Notre Dame.
man, I
Um,
just don't understand what you smoked when you put them as the champion.
because they one play one game, which is they're gonna get revenge on Miami. Miami's only loss. They got one game to get ready for all year. I think that this is the most talented Notre Dame roster that we've seen in a long, long time. And I'm talking about predating them getting stomped by Bama in the playoffs and losing to you all in the playoffs a couple years ago, which I didn't think that that team was super talented. They were just a tough, gritty team that somehow got it together. I'm talking about Tony Rice type talent type team. Um,
Man,
I
you
think
dating
they're
yourself
ready.
with that one.
I
With
think
Tony
they're ready,
Rice.
man. I know like 90% of our audience has no idea who I'm talking about. I think this is their time, man. I think they're gonna have an easy road. They're gonna be super healthy. And don't sleep on their coach.
Oh, he's very good.
Because how many
Whatever.
games you had to win? 4 games. How many games you have to win to get through this thing? Well, what if they get a bye? You got to win how many? 3 games?
Um,
If you
with
get a
12, I
bye,
think so.
Yeah,
To
four,
get there.
bye,
4, right?
play in,
4, right.
Because Indiana was
yeah,
16-0, so
four
4.
and two,
Right.
yeah.
So you got to
Well,
So
figure
four,
2 of those
play
games.
in
You
three
got to
if not
figure that
otherwise.
the first 2 games will be super manageable, and then they'll take their chances with the. I think that I just got
Right.
a feeling.
Man, you should be on on the Fantastic Four. 'Cause you like stretching like Mr. Fantastic right now.
wow.
But I tell you what,
Wow.
I tell you what, I wasn't gonna pick. I don't think Ohio State's gonna win it.
Here's the thing with Ohio State. They lost last year because of coaching.
Okay.
And I think I think they've done the right thing, got the right coaches in, and that's the reason why I think they'll win.
If
Is
that
coaching.
helps you sleep from now
Oh
until the start
man,
of the CFP playoffs, more power
that's
to
like
you.
melatonin.
Now, I also thought about Texas. I just don't trust Texas with the SEC schedule. I know that you didn't teeter, G. Big dude, did you teeter at all, or were you like, nope, Ohio State?
I went straight to Ohio State. I mean, I looked at it. Well, first thing I asked myself was Indiana in a mode and a prepared to repeat. So not only did I think it was too early, I really didn't believe it because I kept thinking that the coach is going to keep them in the mix. But to win it all, I think Ohio State had the most complete team, and not even just talent, because we always hear about Notre Dame's talent. That's probably like every 4 years is the most talented team they've ever had. But to
right.
get there,
I haven't
and
heard
then,
that in a while. I must have missed that memo the recently.
Yeah.
Last couple of years, man.
yeah.
I didn't see it. If that's what they said, they must have been looking in a cracked mirror because I didn't see it.
Well, that's what I keep on hearing all the way for 40 years. We keep hearing that and wondering just how far back that you go. But
That's pretty good, big dude.
but Ohio State, and it pains me to say it, being a Penn State homer. I mean, it's got to look at it, they just find ways to just emerge out of certain things. And we look at their coach. He's been in every corner. He's been way ahead of people. He's been behind people. He's suffered the big losses. I just don't see them suffering that 2 years in a row with the players they have now. I don't think they still have a tremendous quarterback, but I don't think that's why they win. I think their offense has tremendous people. Their defense is going to be underrated, but I think that's why it's going to be the read because they lost some people that were just tremendous people, generational players. But I think that's why they'll even be better this year because they won't be given the credit that they were given last year. I think that's the reason why.
Well, I guess
Ohio
that's what
State
I
will
want
win.
to ask you guys because help me understand what I'm missing with Ohio State. They lost all these people on defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you guys have unquestioned, like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna win it.
So here's how I
think that
look
if
at
they
it.
win it this year, this will be the biggest. This to me, this one I'll be like slow clapping. I think this will be one of their biggest accomplishments in terms of the national championships they won. If they can win this one this year, because this will
But
be the
here's the
toughest
thing.
road to toe this year.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be rough, but Ohio State is kind of like those old Alabama teams where it was just the next person up. That's just kind of where Ohio State has gotten to. So, yeah, we did lose some generational talents, but we also got some that's coming right behind them.
See, I don't know if I
And,
quite believe that yet. This year, I
well,
would
I
be the
mean, right now we're
believer.
prognosticating at the beginning of the season. So,
No, but I'm saying in terms
so
of the talent, I'm saying in terms of their talent being like that. This year, I'll be
yeah,
like, okay, if I see it this year, okay, because they
yeah,
lost a lot.
we're
Um,
prognosticating. So just like we're doing, like you're doing with Notre Dame, we're
mm-hmm,
prognosticating with Ohio State. But I think I think that the difference is going to be so first fundamentally, next man up.
mm-hmm.
That's where we are with Ohio State. The change is we're going to have better coaching,
You know what probably is
particularly
really
the
going to
offensive
put you over
calling.
the top is the 3 transfers from Alabama, probably. So you win another championship with SEC
And I'm
guys. That's
cool
what
with that.
that's what you guys basically do.
You
Yeah.
know what?
Well,
They left a sinking ship. So
yeah, but that's where I'm at. Ohio State, they still do good with getting the high school people. I mean, that's the thing. They get people to the
They
transfer
do.
portal, but we don't know. They have the talent and they have the pipeline that is a different type of pipeline. It's not as prescriptive as it was, but they always seem to find it. But just looking at the away games they have this year, it looks like they have Texas away and they got Indiana away. Those are the big games, and is it USC? Looks like they have away too. So I think those are games are winnable to get them in the position. I think Oregon again is good. Oregon, and they play Oregon during the regular season. I think they'll play. To me, I think that's where Ohio State gets their only loss this year. I think they lose to Oregon. You know, but
Blasphemy.
yeah. Well,
Is it
like
at
I said,
Oregon this year?
no, it's at home. I think they
Yeah,
At
lose it
home,
this
they're
year.
yeah.
not losing to them at home.
All right. Well, then we'll put something on it. Wings or something, because I just think that's it. And Michigan is the only other team they play them at the shoe. I don't see Michigan beating them this year. See, if even if the game was in Michigan this year and the way that it goes, I just think that you're talking about them playing Oregon twice, them playing them in the conference championship, and Ohio State being ready after losing to Oregon and beating Oregon in the conference championship game. I think they get ready for the playoff run.
I'm not even questioning Ohio State's regular season schedule. That's not my point of contention. Even they're going to be 11-1, 12-0. I truly
Right,
believe that every year. They can
right.
be at or at home against whoever. I truly believe that that's how that's going down. I guess I'm looking at, damn, is the program that good? I mean, damn,
Yes.
is that where they're at now?
That's where
Well,
they're at right now.
But one of the
I,
things that I did hear, and I've heard this from the Alabama kids that have transferred, is the regimen in the facilities.
mm,
And they're saying, like, what I heard is these guys are like the way they've been able to bulk up compared to what Bama offered. And I'm like, Jesus, that's saying something because
The
it
Bama
bulk
is.
doesn't
up.
have slouch
That
facilities.
is. Wait a minute. I never heard
You
that.
said like
Yeah.
pack on weight.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. Now y'all
Interesting.
probably using steroids, but we won't go there.
I knew you was gonna say something like
I'm messing around. I don't believe that. I actually respect the program. I just got to start the ish talking a little bit early.
Yeah.
But I
you
wouldn't
pulling
be
Notre Dame out
surprised,
of a
and
hat.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Like in the beginning, I thought Ohio State, but I also was like, it's too easy. I feel like it's a Notre Dame or a Texas or somebody like that. I just think Notre Dame in the next few years is going to be something to deal with, and I think this is their one. But
Now here's
we
the thing. I'm going to be fair minded about it. Choosing Ohio State, a lot of times they're one of those teams where you know what they should do, but sometimes they will stub their toes for no apparent real reason. And so I can definitely understand why anyone would be like, well, yeah, I don't know if they're going to win it all because they just had that propensity to do it at times.
the one thing about them, though, G, is they don't usually stub it 2 years in a row.
That is true.
That's the one thing. Because
That
I'm
is
sitting
true.
here now and I'm visualizing the looks on their faces in that Miami game. You won't see that look again probably till 2028.
But when they lost to Indiana,
But that was a different look because that was a close game. The look
they were
against
mad about
Miami,
that too.
the look against Miami was different. Like it was just it's hard to describe. Like saying looked lost. He didn't look
Hmm.
as lost to me. He looked lost in Indiana, don't get me wrong, but not as lost.
Hmm.
In Miami, it was like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do anything with like just real as frazzled as I've seen him all year, man.
Hmm.
And I think that's
Yeah,
not the
I
kid
feel
that's
you.
gonna come back. He's the kid that I do think is gonna show improve this year. Like I mentioned when we did the Big Ten Media Days, that I think he's gonna win
Hmm.
some games for you guys. And I truly believe that he is going to win some games for you guys.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
trust
we
your
were lucky
defense
with a
this
lot of
year.
good quarterbacks, and the saying, I don't know. His time has got him, it frustrated the heck out of me. So you've heard me complaining enough.
Yeah. I have to see what your defense is, but the one thing about Ohio State, you'll know right away. You don't have to wait till the middle of October. You'll see and you'll be like,
Nope.
okay, I see what the
I love
product
it.
is, which is
I
how
love it.
my boys used to be. And if we could get back to that, that'd be nice.
Speaking of Miami, though, I do have them playing Miami in the national championship.
Do you? You
I think
too, big
Miami
dude?
gets it together. I
No,
think
Texas.
Miami had that pace.
I had Ohio State playing Texas Tech for the national
You're
championship.
gonna keep picking Texas Tech. You're like Chris Berman picking Buffalo and San Francisco every
Yeah,
year. You're gonna keep picking
that's right,
Texas
baby.
Tech, boy. I ain't
That's
mad at
right.
you though. I ain't even
That's
mad at
right.
you.
I'm saying, well, because you know what? This will be the year, and I really think Texas Tech is going to get there, number one. I believe so. You're talking about the Big 12. If they can even make it to the Final Four, again, this is where they continue to affirm all that Texas Tech has been through. I think Texas Tech has the squad again, especially on defense. The offense has to be a little bit better, but
You
Yeah.
this
you
will
know what could
affirm.
be building out there, big dude? You
Mhm,
making a really good point. You know what could be brewing out there?
mhm,
Remember when Ohio State was starting to separate from the rest
mhm.
of the Big Ten?
Yes.
Kind of just asterisk this. Is Texas
Mhm.
Tech starting to, are they going to be the separator and are they going to be the measuring stick to make that conference better?
I think we saw everything off season, what they went through, just how everybody not just felt about what they were trying to do, but the number one, Texas Tech making a move they thought, not worrying about. They would have never ever put money down that the entire conference would start to individually sue them
Yes.
and all that. They would have. There's no way that anybody could have predicted that in Vegas or anywhere. So
Yeah, I'll
I
give them the slow
obviously,
clap too. If they run their table, I'll give them the slow clap too.
yeah. Oh, I give them the real slow clap. Yeah, so I just think that this is the year to show where Texas Tech, why Texas Tech is a cut above all the rest of those teams, and really, to me, they're the closest to being in an SEC or the Big Ten. I mean, if you ask me,
Agree.
they're the closest
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. But I tell
Yeah.
you what, big dude, after you picked them last year, I'm not going to doubt anything you say about them. That's for sure. Because really, one
Yeah,
thing let him down. That quarterback just, I don't know what happened to him, but he
Yep.
right.
disappeared on
Folded.
them. Yep.
Yep. Folded.
Oh yeah, and without the Brendan Sorsby thing and the guy they have, Will, I forgot what Will's last name is, their quarterback,
Can't
but
be worse than the guy that played for him last year. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, they felt like they were going to be okay, and we saw what they went through, and we saw what they're willing to do. So I would say, back to what you said, is that they're showing their separation. The only thing they're missing is a top game during the year, but the conference championship game will be worth seeing, especially if they're there,
If I hope that their season
and
and
that will
BYU
set them
seasons
up.
unfold like we think, because that'd be a hell of a
Hmm.
conference championship game and a lot on the
Hmm.
line too. So, anyways, any final comments, gentlemen?
Not from me.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to come back and see where we end up, see where we were right, and see where we were wrong.
I look
That's
forward
the
to that.
that's the fun part of this. I love it.
Yeah.
Can't be afraid to be wrong, man.
Nope.
Can't be
Nope.
afraid. Got to go out and pick what you think. So that'll do it for this episode of Chasing Rings. Thank you again for joining us. And until next time, see ya later.